You're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time for us to look at the headlines across Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio our regulars to make sense of all of this. Dr. Dayo Kayode is here. Dr. Kayode, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to
How
see
are
you
you today? Good
Very
to see
great.
you. Looking cool, man.
You look good too.
Just like you.
And we also have Dr. Ojon joining us on Zoom. Dotun, good morning. All right. I can't hear your voice yet, but I hope we'll certainly work that out before we start talking to you. Now, let's begin with the leadership newspaper. That's where we start from right away. Pressure mounts on PMB to sign Electoral Act Amendment Bill. That's what the leadership newspaper is saying. Pressure mounts on PMB to sign Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Governors, lawmakers lobby president, CSOs, others make case for assent and say bill reflects people's will. And president has 27 days to okay bill, and interest of Nigerians should be paramount. Lawyers are saying this, okay? Recall that there are perceptions that some governors are not down with the Electoral Act Amendment Bill the way it is, especially with the issue of the direct primaries for political parties. News Direct is next. Fresh trouble in South-South. That's what the News Direct says. Militants blow up Ajip oil facility. Threaten stiffer attacks if demands are not met. At Nembe Oil, we are seeking foreign expertise to halt leakage. That's the company saying there. All right, that's News Direct. From there, let's go to First News. Bielsa is the focus here. 2 weeks on, oil spilling continues in Nembe. It's really heartbreaking situation if you see the videos coming out of that with the continuous flow of this. Bielsa 2 weeks on, oil spilling continues in Nembe. Right, from there, let's go to Blueprint newspaper. In 1 week, bandits abduct 80 in Zagzaga, Niger community. Ask for 150 million naira ransom. Monarch's brother kidnapped in Kwara. Police foil kidnap of Nasarawa PDP chair, Abuja cleric. Fighter jets hit Sokoto, Zamfara camps, kill several in air raids, and kill bandits and bring their corpses. CAS charges troops. All right, as Chief of Army Staff. Okay, from there, let's go to, from the Blueprint newspaper, let's go to Daily Trust. Daily Trust says Kano beats Southeast in VAT collection. Yobe collects higher than Ikiti, Edo states, and Abia got 10 times more than he generated. And some other riders there. That's Daily Trust. Right? It's a good thing. States are getting more revenues. That's what has been said all the while. Become creative and get all the revenues so that everyone doesn't have to go to Abuja and wait at the end of the month for the monies to be paid. Daily Times is next. Fuel, electricity. Daily Times, fuel, electricity, mixed reactions, trail IMF advice on subsidies removal. All right, this has been on for years now on subsidy removals. All right, fuel, electricity subsidies, not sustainable. Benefits very lean, says experts, and NLC cautions against subsidies removal, urges federal government to be wary of IMF prescriptions. All right, all that is there. From there, let's go to the Punch newspaper. 90 ships seized by EFCC rot away in Lagos and others. No budgetary provision for Navy to maintain seized, forfeited ships. Some of the vessels being managed by third parties pay rent to EFCC. Wow. All right, that's the Punch newspaper. From there, let's go to Nigerian Tribune. Alleged hidden 19.3 billion naira Kogi tax EFCC demands retraction, links ordeal to Bellows 2023 ambition. That's what the Nigerian Tribune is saying. From there, the Nation newspaper. INEC awaits president's action on Electoral Act. APC governors meet on direct primary, and ACF chieftain urges Buhari to sign the bill. That's the Arewa Consultative Forum. Right? From there, let's go to the Daily Sun. Daily Sun says banditry, Abuja schools on red alert. Parents abandon school buses, withdraw kids from boarding houses. We're on top of situation. The FCT authorities are saying this. Okay, from the Daily Sun, let's go to Daily Independent. Forex woes would limit economic growth and investment. Analysts are saying this. Affect effectiveness of reforms elsewhere in the economy. That's what Daily Independent is saying. And the Vanguard is next. Forex row threatens fuel subsidy, or fuel supply rather, price stability. The private depots maintain dollar charges, and independent marketers kick, say price could rise further this week. Federal government to continue absorbing bridging cost. Okay, that's the Vanguard newspaper. Okay, that's the last one we're looking at now. So let's begin with the story on the front page of the Nation newspaper. I also recall that the leadership also has the same story. Pressure mounts on the PMB to sign Electoral Act amendment bill. We hear that some governors are lobbying the federal government. INEC awaits president's action on Electoral Acts. Okay, let's start this way. Dr. Kayode, we've had you on this program several times talking about this, especially when at the time the National Assembly came up with this, with the idea of the Electoral Act, or the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Talk to us why this still remains an issue where, despite the fact that Nigerians, the majority of the voices we hear from Nigerians say that this is the way to go, especially looking at it from the direct primaries, that is part of the bill, but because that's not everything about the bill, but it's part of the bill. Yet a lot leaders still don't want to toe the line.
You see, like I've been saying, there are two important aspects within that electoral bill being passed by the National Assembly, which even for me in the first instance shouldn't have been. One, that of direct or indirect primaries, and that of electronic transfer of results. Number one, the act or the constitutional provision as regards party politics, administration, and all that lies within the purview of each party's constitution and each party's leadership discretion. Okay, so I wouldn't know why it should not be a big issue. The National Assembly will be wasting our time and resources on the debate on whether to go on direct primaries or indirect primaries. Leave this thing to the parties to decide on their own. But then, if you are now saying, okay, within your capacity, you can do that, and then you have agreed on direct primaries, is it also within the purview of the governors to now say the National Assembly cannot do what they are supposed to do? Should they be allowed to poke their own nose into the activities of the National Assembly, of which National Assembly cannot poke their own nose into the state governors' activities? So all these are issues that sometimes makes you to see that, Kai, what kind of people are we having in our elected positions? Okay. That is one. Two, on the passage, I mean on the transition of result electronically. Is that what we should be talking about now? Or even how to vote at the comfort of our sitting rooms, at the comfort of our bedrooms? And I mean, it should be given that yes, transferring results electronically has to a very large extent reduced hijack of results, killing and maiming of people, and then election results being lost on the way.
Yeah, but it is also open to hacking, from what some analysts are also saying
that
these are all tendencies.
But do you know that? Do you know that there are some things you can put in place that will prevent that hacking?
All right, we'll come back to this. Let me bring Dotun in here, who is joining us on Zoom. Dotun, I understand your audio is okay now. We were talking about the electoral amendment bill. A lot of people, from what we have heard, are happy with the provisions or the prescriptions or recommendations of the bill so far, or the content of it, and it is now before the president to sign. Well, from the report we're getting, that governors or some governors are still lobbying that the president shouldn't sign it. What do you make of this?
You see, you don't give up influence so easily like that. So it is understandable that some governors will continue to lobby until we have the final result. Mike, one of the things that the Holy Book, the Bible, says is that one quality that every good leader must have is the ability to manage his own home before it comes to public place. If you want to translate that into our political practice in Nigeria, that suggests to me that before you talk about ruling a country, a state, or even a local government, you must have talked about internal democracy within your party. So if you do not get the issue of internal democracy right within your party, then how do you want to govern well? That's where the issue is. And I think that is what called for the intervention of the National Assembly. There's no how we want to see it. Majorly, we have issue with internal democracy with our political parties in Nigeria. And that's why a few people will just want to manipulate and control the entire process within the party. If we continue to encourage this manipulation, Mike, we will not go past this level. So we believe that with this, such unnecessary influence will be reduced, and that will return power to the people. Then again, the question as to what the people will do with power when we finally return it to them is a different story entirely. But I think it's the right process that we have begun, and we must continue to grow our democracy in that direction.
All right, staying with you, Dotun, the point there is, in this electoral amendment bill, of course, the direct primaries is not the only thing there, but it seems the direct primaries seem to be very prominent because of the controversies around it. Now, some people have concerns with the fact that with direct primaries, it looks like the main election already, because everyone is coming out to, cast their vote for whoever candidate they want to be their flag bearer. They talk about the possibility of chaos and killings even at primary elections. They talk about the cost of it. What concerns do you have from that window?
Okay, I think I have similar concern, and you remember I once raised it that it can actually a bit affect even election funding. In Nigeria today, an organization did a research that averagely in the southwest states, for you to become a governor, you will spend about 3 billion. On the day of election, if we want to calculate the issue of vote buying and all that, that is about 1.5 billion. So if somebody is going to do direct primary, that may also mean that the resource, the financial resource, may a bit increase. But again, that does not take away the possibility that even with indirect primary, people are spending heavily. People are spending heavily to gather delegates. People are spending heavily to actually ensure, to even accommodate delegates. What they do some days before election, the practice over the time, is that you see that politicians will gather delegates, put them in hotel, render them incommunicado from other contestants, from other aspirants, and they pay heavily for this. There was one they did in Rivers State the other time. I don't want to mention the name of party. You discover that hard currencies were actually moving from hand to hand. Even the one they did in Lagos in before 2015 election. You see, and this has always been the practice. So there are concerns here and there, but that does not take away the fact that, okay, for us to continue to build our democracy, we must continue to change rules. Mike, this is not how we started. Nigeria has not got it right when it comes to democracy, but we are not where we used to be. It was really bad. You remember the time that the only thing we were hearing was the issue of ballot box snatching, but that has reduced greatly. Now we are facing the problem of vote buying, and I know that continually, as we continue to educate the number of people that are in the process now, that things will change. Mike, less than 25% of the population in Nigeria today are the one deciding the election direction in the nation. So what do we have to do? We need to populate the election process with people who know what they are doing. And this takes a lot of time. But I believe that with this kind of laws here and there, returning power to the people, I know that more serious-minded people will come into our governance process, and some of the issues we have here and there will be worked on and they will be reduced.
All right.
So let me quickly add this. When you're talking about delegates, how did we come about with the delegates? People voted for them. You know, people always go for elections to become a delegate. So that means people had always been involved in all of these things. But the issue now is this. We discard things easily. Why can't we look at option A4 that Babangida brought up the other time? Let's forget about whether it's Babangida or not Babangida. But option A4, we knew what option A4 did in this country. That option A4 can be looked at.
And they are saying that this direct primaries is close to option A4.
Yeah, but then there are some things inherent in option A4 that is not in direct primaries. So why don't we look at those things, all those elements there, and then factor it into direct primaries? Because either we like it or not, we are growing. It's a great democracy we have in Nigeria, and we have to keep on adding one thing, deleting another one at each time. So I will suggest, let us look at option A4, direct primaries. Then what are the elements that are inherent in that option A4 that are not in direct primaries? Put it there. Then what are the things that can be removed from direct primaries so that it will also reduce the cost
but now,
of running it?
Now, if that has not been done, then it's late already, because
but then we have to keep on thinking.
The bill is before the president, awaiting his assent, and we wait to see how that comes up. Now, the point there is, the argument or the debate around it is that the idea of inclusion supersedes the cost of election, supersedes the threats of security and all of that. What do you make of that?
What is the definition of inclusion? The definition of inclusion is bringing in the people to the process of electioneering. Electioneering in terms of from the beginning to the end. Either direct or indirect, people are being involved. Either direct or indirect, people are being involved. When you are bringing up your delegates, you go to vote for who you trust can represent your interests appropriately.
Yeah, but we know the involvement of people at that level. The point there is, you may say people are involved, but the ease by which the system or the process is manipulated by the influence of finances or influence of people and all of that, or different kind of incentives, that is what they're talking about. Even if people are involved, because the point there is, you know that when it comes to delegates, some persons are automatic delegates. The moment you are a political office holder, you are a delegate. But the point there is, in this case now where we're talking about direct primaries, anybody, so long as you are a card-carrying member of the political party, you can go there and vote.
Let me also put this across to you. What is even politics? What is even politics? Politics is like football. Listen, no, it's true.
You want to take us to the classroom now.
We have to play the way it is. Do you understand? Politics is all about having a upper hand on whoever you are contesting with. So it now behoves on you to look at different strategies that you are going to use. So allow parties to determine the way they want to throw up their candidates. Because part of throwing up their candidates, either through direct or indirect or through option A4 or option whatever, is also part of the strategies. So you cannot just sit down somewhere and then be dictating the strategy a particular party is going to use. As for me, I say prefer each party to use whatever they want to use in training up their own candidates.
All right. Well, the National Assembly has made their own recommendations, and it awaits the president. If the president appends his signature, it becomes law. Well, politics, you know, it talks about the issue of conflict resolution.
Yeah,
who gets what,
exactly.
when, and how. Dotun, the point there is, when it comes to this direct primaries, how would it benefit women, youth, and others like even people with disabilities who may originally be very popular with the people, but may not have the resources as it's supposed to be? How will this benefit them?
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, number one, it will be a kind of encouragement, especially for people in our age bracket who we refer to in Nigeria as youth. It will encourage them to actually be part of the process. I quickly need to refer to something. As we have it today, the indirect primary that we talk about does not totally represent the will, the wish, and the expectation of the people. In the sense that, in some cases, majority of cases, you even see that some of these delegates are not elected. Because we have had for example, in APC as we speak now, if anything should happen, at the national level, they don't have elected these people were appointed in interim basis. We also have some political parties who have done so. In my party, the United Progressive Party, for example, I was appointed as an interim chairman. If we are going to do any indirect primary today, I am going to be a delegate. But without answering the question as to whether I am actually the face of the people that I am governing.
Automatic delegate. Yeah.
So the times when you talked about issue of statutory delegate the other time, the appointees of government here and there. These are some of the issues. So I think number one, that is going to encourage the people to be part of the process. That's number one. Number two, going to give them a say in the process. Women will be able to come out and independently queue behind whosoever they want.
Okay.
It will be different from a situation just push them backward because you cannot transport them to the state capital because you are considering the fact that they have children, you are considering the fact that they have husband and all this.
All right, Dotun. Yeah, we unfortunately we have to end it here now, but we get your point, and your point is highly taken. Thank you very much for your time on the program, Dr. Ojon. Thank you very much.
And you see,
Dr. Kayode,
when you sleep, like you said, when you sleep, and you're expecting to meet food all of the time,
the moment you know
it makes that person to be lazy.
Exactly. That's very true. Thank you very much, Dr. Dayo Kayode, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right.